Let me see what's going on this Tippler Talk Tuesday. Well, folks, it's about 7:44 a.m. Kind of chilly today here in Florida. It's about 60 something degrees. Today I'm gonna be talking about a variation in tipplers. 8-hour tipplers, above 8-hour tipplers. And for those that are watching, I'm gonna go over a few of my tipplers that I fly that are doing very well for me. But I'm going to show you, this is the reason why I say the tipplers come in different shapes, sizes, and colors. And when we try to perfect them a certain way, it's more of a preference versus a flight. If you're trying to obtain a certain look, that's your preference. But if I don't care how they look, as long as they fly, then you'll see what I have here. Now, I have in my loft breeders that will produce me different styles, body styles, heads, beaks, feet, and so on, and eyes. But I'm going to go over a few with you. One of my favorite ones is, for example, this hen right here. This hen, apart from the other hen I'm about to show you, she's longer, a little bit more slender. She has a large, this one has a medium beak considered in my loft, but I have some with longer beaks, like my yellows. So let's see. Here's the size of her beak. Here's her wings. Her primaries are very wide. You see the wideness in that feather? And I have some with very thin, narrow feathers. The secondaries are pretty big. Very long wings. They almost come up to the tail in some areas here. But I'll show you. This is a hen. This is a hen that I fly. It's a dun. I fly. They've all done 8 hours, except for the yellows. So here, I'll show you. We'll go over that bird here in a minute. But that dun right there stands taller, larger feet, longer beak or medium beak considered in my loft. I've had them with longer beaks. I'll show you another one, another hen, just to compare. And these were all raised at the same time. Here goes one of my blacks. She has a much shorter beak, flat head, very flat head. She seems to be slightly shorter. Now I have them longer. Slightly shorter wing. Almost no step from primary to secondary. Her feathers are narrow. And she flies well. Now I'm not trying to say that you need to have a certain type of body. All I can say is try them in your loft. When you have your bird, fly them all. Treat them all the same way. Train them all the same. And then you will go through the birds and figure out what's flying well for you and what's not. This hen right here, unfortunately I had 3 other siblings this year, and they all have been caught by the hawk, but they all flew fabulous for me. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. She's a little bit more smaller than the dun. And you can see, let me get a little closer. You can see that she is built a little bit differently than the other one, than the other dun, the other hen, I should say. She is slightly different. Now, the dun's a little bit more larger as far as longer body. The black one It's a little smaller, and the beak's different. I think the dun's a little bit taller than the black. The dun's feet are a little bit bigger. So there you have it. Those are the hens. I'm going to show you now what the cocks are looking like. Oh, my mistake. Let me show you one more hen. My yellows. Here's my yellows. This yellow here, I consider my best yellow this year, or last year, 2023, because as a baby she went straight up, stayed up, went high, went far. Fabulous flying from this little hen here, and I think she's slightly different from those two hens. So you can see the variation in the hens. Here's the difference. Way longer beak. Like an albatross. Rounder head. Wider head. Same thing. Kind of same wingspan as the black, more or less. Now, if you look at her, let me get a little closer. She's slightly different. You see the three different variations in the hens? Let me do this. Let me get this phone off the tripod here, so you can see the variation. Now, all of these hens, they've been flying since last year. They're very mate-ish. They've cut down their times, but look at the differences in these hens. The black one has a very flat head. The dun has a nicer rounded head, and so does the yellow, but the yellow has a longer beak. They all pretty much have about the same size feet, except for the black one, maybe slightly, not by much, but slightly smaller. And to me, the dun has the longer wings. You can see that. It's clearly, you can see that almost to the tail. Now I'm going to show you two cocks. That I've been flying over 8 hours. Okay. This one right here is the one with the shorter beak. This one here is the one with the shorter beak. You'll see the next one come up. Got a round head. Wings, nice and long, but I think the next one I'm going to show you has longer wings, much longer. And the other cock is a little bit larger than this one. You can see that the primaries are narrow, not very wide. Maybe this one. But the primary three, the 10th, 9th, and 8th, it's got a medium-sized body. We'll throw them in. No, let me throw them down here. Let me get the next cock. Okay. Now this guy, much longer wings, and you can see, different from that cock, he has a flat head, longer beak. Totally different from that guy over there. And look at the primaries, a little bit wider. This one's narrow, but the ninth and the eighth wide. Of course, very wide secondaries. Look at that. And wait till you see these two guys stand side by side. Both perform over 8 hours, and yet they look different in body structure. Now let me show you. Look at the differences. As a matter of fact, the one on the right is a little taller. Stands a little taller than the other cock, and yet both of these perform well over 8 hours. And my tipplers have very large feet, longer body, and this is the reason why I say tipplers are very interesting. I like the fact that they come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. When you talk about building a family of tipplers, I've seen guys have discussions about how does it become your bloodline. Everyone has their own interpretation on how they make their own bloodline. Well, here's the deal. Here's my interpretation. I think in order to have a certain type of line in your loft and call them your own, you have to make them all identical, that you can't tell one from the other. And that's when you really know you have a line of birds that you created, that are no longer so-and-so's loft, They become your loft. Although they are a tippler, they become your line. I really love those right there. The dun is the best body style or structure I can go for, that I like. The other ones, they're okay too, but I prefer the dun. So folks, on this Tippler Talk Tuesday, we're talking about variation in size, style, color. You got 3 colors here, 3 different styles. And although the dun and the yellow are close, that yellow has a way longer beak than that dun. But the dun appears to be longer in body than the yellow. The yellow is not as long. All right, folks, I'm gonna end it with everyone have a great day. Until next time, peace.